Heroscapers! Hello and welcome back. I am Joe Crazy, and this is ScapeCon footage, match 3 of the good old days. And I'm playing against Jack Trivia Night on the Heroscape Forums. Jack, how are you?
I'm just dandy, Joe. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me on here.
I appreciate it. I'm so glad that we got to do this.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the game was fun, and I'm sure tonight will be fun too.
No, absolutely. Of course, admiring your beautiful art of a knight's helmet on your sticker.
It's the best I could do with a ballpoint pen, but you know, it wasn't bad.
Are you an artist as well?
I used to be a graphic designer, but I'm much better with digital tools than freehand. But I can sketch.
Oh, cool! Excellent.
Yeah.
So you had brought in some orcs and some. Oh my god, my mind is escaping me. What is the futuristic squad that you brought?
The Krav agents.
The Krav agents, yes. Yeah. And of course, you got a Samu. This is an interesting map. I quite enjoy playing on this one. I liked... Shadow is way more powerful than bushes, in my opinion.
Because it ignores whether it's ranged or a melee attack.
Yeah.
The thing that always gets me is I always forget that large, huge figures don't benefit from Shadow, and I always remember that way too late. Somebody's already
true. Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things too that because they do affect bushes, right? But only huge doesn't.
Yeah, only huge, but Shadow only affects small and medium figures.
Right. Okay.
I actually don't know that about bushes. That might also just be small, medium figures. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it'll be on the screen. I'll look it up. So what is your experience with ScapeCon? Did you go to ScapeCon 1?
No, so my roommate is MQ23. We went to college together, and I currently live with him in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
I've been playing for a little over a year now, seriously. It was sort of just a way for us to spend time together as roommates, and he has a whole collection, so I started playing and ended up enjoying it a lot, and so I decided I'd go to ScapeCon. I figured it'd be a fun event to, you know, spend a week in the summer, and so we decided to just prep for it. So I played only him for like 8 months and was really excited to get to ScapeCon to play like new people. And if I recall, this was one of the first... You were one of the first people that I actually played because we had our multiplayer tournament. And this was one of the first tournaments. So.
Yes. Right after Multiplayer Madness this was the first tournament, yeah.
So I wanted to ask Joe, I remember you told me when we sat down, you said, you looked at me and you said, I'm a Morrow guy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, what about the Morrow do you really like?
I like the look of them.
Yeah.
I like the alien, I like the yellows and the reds. To me, my favorite color is orange. I've always I appeal to those colors. When I first got Rise of the Valkyrie, Nigoksa was, I think, the one character that I was like, dude, he's so badass. You know, big knife, shoulder pads, you know, like he's just a total badass. And then through that, it's just like, you know, you just come to terms with, you know, I like alien stuff, so they very alien-like, and now I've become more of an experienced player than what I was when I was 12, but, you know, and understanding how the Morrow kind of work and all the different army compositions, and yeah, they're just really fun. They're not the most powerful thing in the world, but they're not the weakest thing in the world either. So
yeah, I think they're a really well-developed faction. I think for Heroscape, that obviously has been plagued by its discontinuation and AOA, but we won't talk about that. I think the Morrow had a lot of development and had a lot of attention, and there's a lot of different kinds of units that can be used in different ways, and they all have a lot of built-in synergy with one another. So I think you can build a lot of different kinds of armies with the Morrow, and that's appealing. So I get that.
Yeah, no, for sure. So did you have a particular reason why orcs? Are you a huge fan of orcs? Was it something the first time playing with them?
I like heavies, and I like Grimnak. I think the reason behind this was because my main event army was a Knights army, and
Okay.
at the time I decided I only wanted to play armies that I was really comfortable with for this ScapeCon. So this being one of the first tournaments, I was like, okay, I don't want to just play only Knights. I'll play a different army that I'm familiar with, and heavies was that answer. So I think Grimnack's chomp ability is insane, and
Oh,
it really forces your opponent to play around it.
oh yeah, for sure. And I'm sure that I completely forget about it. The one thing I do have against it is the hounds. You
Right.
can't chomp hounds.
That is true. You really I don't remember. You must have rolled a lot of movement for hounds because they're already up there.
Yeah, they're pretty speedy. I must have gotten some pretty good rolls on them.
I think the other good thing about heavies is disengage. That's one I forget about a lot.
Yeah.
Because engagement is so important, and you're just like, oh, I can't move there because, oh, wait, these guys can move wherever they want.
Right, exactly. That's why I find it interesting with the hound that I have on the right-hand side of the board, the way I placed it. So even with disengage, and yes, you can go around and get that movement glyph whenever you like, regardless if disengage or not, but at least it still is blocking you somewhat. It's not like, the single unit and you can just, like, walk right by. You still have to take the movement and go around the hound.
Yeah, you're body blocking.
Right.
No. Did you have a favorite event during ScapeCon?
I think lightweight, probably was my favorite. And I feel like the only reason lightweight was because after I played 3 games of main event, I was so relieved to go play something more casual.
I remember the headache I had that night. It was
I was not ready for main event. I was not ready.
Are you going to be ready this year?
I'm actually not going this year.
You're not.
No.
Oh, man, I'm going to miss you, dude.
Yeah, I everybody's been asking me if I'm going, and I keep, I'm gonna keep repeating it, but yeah, I'm gonna plan something else. My girlfriend and I were supposed to go on vacation together at the end of the summer after ScapeCon, and we fell ill, could not go, and so other than trying to work on my finances right now, we're just gonna work on doing one vacation with me and her.
Makes sense.
But I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna go to some of the events in my on the East Coast, be able stuff that I can drive to. So I won't be Heroscapeless this year. I will be going to as many events as I can. So first round is fully complete. Not much has happened, which is usually the case, and I'm curious to know who's left standing. I think most of my games that I filmed, I don't remember. I remember the end result. I just don't remember how it became the end result.
Me neither, especially for a tournament this early. Because I think like for a day after, I could recall most of the tournaments and what happened, but now that it's been a few months or quite a few months, I had to write everything down, so I don't really remember either.
I had taken so many notes, and then once I got back, I was going through my notes and I went, why did I just stop taking notes? Like I had notes like extensively through the first 3 days, and like I think 4 and 5 I just like quit. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, see, there's a spot where I put him there, probably thinking Shadow was going to help.
Yeah.
And, didn't. But I was trying to cover the landings. That's something that William really mentions a lot. Is you never want to put your figures in places where an attack down can be had on you. And I think that's really easy to miss if you're like, oh, this is a good spot for my guy. I want to put him there to block things off. But it's a landing. Then you can look for an opportunity to exploit that. Sort of in response to it,
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like a race to the top. How soon can you get to that height advantage, and can you keep it?
Mm-hmm. So I must have taken out that hound that was over near movement glyph.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Something that I've sort of found in the games that I've played, I don't know. Glyphs are really powerful. I'm a very glyph heavy player. I think, like in a lot of the games I play, I'm very like play the objective. Like I'm not as much a team deathmatch kind of guy as I
Sure.
am like hardpoint or domination. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I always aim for ways to get to the glyph fairly quickly because the more turns I can be on a movement glyph, the more overall development I get. You know, and you can just outpace your opponent that way.
No, absolutely, and I think the heavy grets are they 4 or 5 movement? Do you remember?
I think they're 5 movement because they're a really good squad figure. I don't. Maybe they're 4. We should probably figure.
I mean 5 is pretty much the standard, and that's so if you if you have a 5, 6, 7 movement now, that's dangerous. But then again, you have Grimnock still alive. You're gonna want to be able to be around him. You can't, even though it's nice to be able to catch up because you sent him in quite quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's probably gonna pay off for you, but yeah, you still want to be able to kind of protect him and surround him with the heavies.
It gives me a little less pressure though because I can develop up behind him, and I have less of like the fuse is a little longer, right? Like the time it's going to take you to get to Grimnack to punish him being up there is you have to do that quicker because I can get my guys up there to make up for that positioning.
No, for sure.
What's the glyph on the left side? Do you remember?
I was just thinking that. I don't remember. I'm actually gonna go relook real quick. Scroll back.
Looks like initiative.
Yeah. Yep, it's initiative. Okay. Yeah, right there. Okay. 1136.
Yeah, you're right. That is a good map. There's not a lot of the qualities that I find to be annoying in maps. I'm not a fan of lava.
Oh yeah, I can't stand it.
Yeah,
it's tough, especially when you're on height. Like it feels it adds the right amount of complexity that I'm just not prepared for.
yeah. It's just such a consideration. It's also like a giveaway, right? Like if you have like 2 order markers on something and you move them onto lava, you can. It's sort of assumed, well, you're going to move them off of lava with your next order marker, but then you can like switch that up by just like having them take the damage and think that's where you're going next. So I guess it's all right, but I just lost too many really valuable units to lava.
Yeah, it's definitely a high risk, high risk, high reward situation. But it's just, I don't know. It's a tough thing to deal with because I'm not used to the game enough to know the strategies of like when to hop on top and when to shut it off. And I don't play big squadscape where I put all of my order markers on the same. I should say I don't have more than 3 squads of something. So
okay, 3 squads of any one thing.
Yeah, so I think the most at this point in our collection, we only have 3 squads of Morrow drones. That is the most of any unit we have. Either it's like 1 or 2. So even with like 4th Mass, the heavy gruts, blade gruts, arrow gruts, we only have 1 squads of each. So, I think you only played 2 squads or 3 squads of heavies? Let's see, 1,
I'm not
2,
sure.
3, 4, 5.
Probably
2, because that's 80. He's 120. Crab, I think, is 70. Oh, well, they're 100. Okay. And then Asamu's 10. 2.
2 sounds right.
4. 410, something like that.
Well, those are, yeah, it's 2, because those 2 Krav are actually, they're Krav and not heavies. They look like heavies from here. Um, I gotta say, man, I'm impressed that you were able to carry this camera rig around and show everything in it. Like that was that was a big commitment, and I saw you keep it up like the whole time. So props to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I worked extensively way before ScapeCon, trying to figure out how I was going to film these games, and I figured the only way I would have to do it is to, build a rig. And I did a couple games to practice with my friends, how I was going to hold it, and so, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think shots like this that you're getting right here, where you're almost like doing sight lines and from the perspective of the unit, I think that really uses that makes Heroscape shine because
Sure.
it's such a beautiful game, like its details and its maps and the way it looks. Like you can get down and look and see everything from their perspective, and I think that camera kind of shows it.
No, yeah, for sure. Okay. Okay. Okay, Hounds, I see you. Putting in work. Good. I love being able to root for something that I play and I have no idea what's gonna happen. I think that's so funny. Cause like from here it's like, okay, it looks like I'm doing now like I said, you've only been playing for what, a year or so?
A little over a year, yeah.
Um, and even for myself at this point, we've been playing for maybe 2 to 3 years. But we don't, like I said, we don't have like between you and your roommate, you guys have a quite large collection.
It's 99% his, probably 99.5. He has pretty much a complete collection, minus a few like odds and ends units. Most of it is real, but some of it is 3D printed.
Okay, and that's fine too. I mean, I think 3D printing is the way to go now. I recently just bought 3D printed of Mara dividers.
Yeah.
And so now technically that is the most I have, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy a 3D printed. I'm gonna buy 4 squads of them.
Yeah, you need that many dividers.
You really do. So, my buddy Glenn is painting them for me, which I much appreciate, and hopefully I'll be taking those to the next tournament that I go to. But yeah, no, 3D printing is definitely the way to go, because there's no way you're paying for the OG prices. It just stinks.
It's funny you said dividers. William actually ordered probably 4 squads of dividers, and before AOA came out, I just decided I was going to learn how to paint minis, because I thought that's a good skill to have for no particular reason. And I ended up painting about 4 squads of dividers for him too. So they're not that hard to paint, but I'll tell you, it's hard to get the Morrow look just right. Like,
interesting.
The color, you have to use sort of like a yellow base, and then you use a brick colored wash, and it mixes together to make an orange. But you have to get it really particularly right, because I have some Morrow drones or dividers that look a little too yellow, and some that look like they got sunburned. So it's kind of a tricky mix.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Glenn's having a bit of that issue too. He was showing me, the first, version of what he had, because he had taken one at first, did everything he could, and he's like, hey, do you like this? And I'm like, yeah, it looks amazing. It looks like exactly what that is. It's awesome. Do that. And then he took the rest of them, and he started doing it, and then, so they came out yellow at first. They looked very yellow. And he's like, all right, I'm going to do a little bit more red wash, and I'm going to experiment with this, and he's like, yeah, man, like, do it, like, because it's new for him. Like, doing more of, like, a flesh tone is new. He paints Warhammer 40K. And so, for him, and the Death Watch that he paints is all black, gray. If he is using red, it's, like, blood stains, or it's, like, nice trims, and it's clean.
Armor.
Armor, yeah. So the flesh tone was a new thing for him.
It's not even like just flesh tone. It's the Morrow look. Like it's like flesh tone you can just get out of a pot if you need it. Like you can get a flesh tone color, but the Morrow look has to be like the highlights have to be yellow, but the lowlights need to be red. So getting the wash to sort of sit on the model right. I mean, you can even look, even the painters did things differently. Like stingers are a little more red in the crevices and yellow on top than like Miberxa, who's a little more like flesh toned and gray, like Nigaxa. And then the
Right.
hounds are really red, right?
Yeah.
So it's even varies versus the actual official units.
Yeah, it's true. They are actually quite inconsistent with how they are. It is interesting, yeah. Huh. Yeah, that hound is really red.
Yeah. I was using different models for references, and I'm like, why are these all different colors? That hound is in a really good spot if you roll Toxin well. Like,
Oh, yeah, the one on the left? Yeah.
Back to you, Knight.
Oh, boy.
oh,
On the house.
oh no. I think I know why this game went this way.
Well, let's just hope they don't die, and I use Miberxa to just trot around and keep sniping your gruts, because that's what I kind of, in my head right now, in this time period, I want me to do right now. If I had to go back in time, I'm pretty sure that's what I would want. Or at least the stingers. I still got stingers. I could use the stingers to do that, too.
I don't remember how you used Nigaxa here, but I think he could be, like, he could do some damage.
Yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's in prime range. He can jump right in, start trying to mind shackle.
Yeah, just real quick, just get a mind shackle real quick.
Yeah. Because if these hounds don't survive, that's kind of a wrap. This was a really good event. I know we didn't. This is the first time recording for the good old days, so I'll cover it here. But what was fun about the good old days, and why at least I wanted to choose it, and I hope this is the reason that you chose it, was I knew that if by chance I lost every single game, I still would be walking out with something, because the whole idea was that it was essentially like, it felt like a family game night thing where everyone brought a gift. And they put it in the pile on the table, and then so based on how you placed, you got something from the table. So everyone went home with a gift, and so that was to me the best gimmick, regardless.
I'm with you. What did you take home?
I actually got Brave Arrow.
Oh. Okay.
And you know what's interesting? I don't remember what my first choice was. It was, I think, not even my first, second, or third, because I would have assumed, because we don't have Brave Arrow in our collection, I would have assumed people would have wanted to grab the official unit thing, but apparently many people already had Brave Arrow, so, which was awesome. Yeah, and funny enough, the Brave Arrow that we have, Ben, MK Plus Ultra, I found out that he was the one that brought Brave Arrow for that gift.
Oh, wow. So it just kind of turned back around.
Yeah.
I ended up taking home an old dice box that was from like 2008.
Oh, nice.
It was pretty good. It was the one I used for the rest of the tournament, so I was happy with that.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, you got engaged with Nigaxa, so...
Alright, what do you need?
Oh!
Small, medium, too?
Oh, I got it.
Probably not.
Hero character, you have to roll 2 or higher.
I think you
18? No!
Not at all.
Get out.
Oh my god.
Ooh, okay.
Hearing that.
Are we here? Oh, Grimneck as well. When you say?
The only thing you can chop left is my stingers.
One, okay.
I mean, easily chop. You can chop everything else, but still have to get to that D20 roll. But yeah, I still got the crab to go through. Oh boy.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed some. I noticed William, and I've noticed a few other like older like weathered players do. Like Nick the Ant kind of did it in this last Maryland tournament that we were in. Is to like pick a cleanup unit or like he did a Hydra. In this case, I'm doing Krav, and just completely ignore them and use like half your army to fight the battle. Once there's some attrition there and you sort of weaken your opponent, then you just send in that unit and then you just kind of clean up. So he did that with a Hydra, I believe.
Wow.
He just kept the Hydra back, fought everything without the Hydra, and then ran the Hydra in and just cleaned everything up afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a trend that I kind of got out of Heroscape at ScapeCon. I mean, especially when it came to maps with Wannick. People really expect, Wannick to do a lot of damage, so they take characters like Marku as insurance so that they can just put wounds on them. Or I saw one, I'm trying to think of who it was. Was it Chandler? I think it was Chandler. He took the Venic Viper, and Venic Viper has some pretty decent life on it, and so that was a really good choice for. I don't think our game had Wannick on it, but he was prepared that if he played on something with Wannick, that he would put the wounds on that as well.
Yeah, Marku is the perfect answer to that. Grimnock putting in work.
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
Did you get him? Oh no, I guess I didn't hear what I said.
No, I guess you defended that. Oh my god. It is interesting that we have both glyphs covered, and they're not. I mean, I don't remember. I can't hear the initiatives going off, but I think even with initiatives, it's not really helping me too much.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm kind of up in your grill, so you can use that initiative to maybe get an extra attack, but you're not even like as developed up there. I don't need the initiative to move my guys. I just need to sort of play the long game.
Yeah.
Big initiative.
Now, what was something that from ScapeCon you learned as a player? Was there a particular type of positioning or tactic that you learned?
That's a good question. I think I learned that people don't consider maybe as many moves as I expected. Like my roommate won the main event a few years ago, and I've only played him up until this point. So I'm losing most of my games, and I'm like, I can't get the jump on them, and I can't mix up order markers and know where I'm going. Until playing in ScapeCon, I was playing against completely different people, and I think I was expecting them to play a certain way and think a million moves ahead, and I found that wasn't as much the case. Not to say that I lost plenty of games and I'm not like the best at it, but like I think I learned that you don't have to consider so far ahead that you get lost in it, but that you can go like, okay, I think that'll happen in like a few moves. What if I do this? I can do this, and that'll happen in a few moves. So I think it let me be a little more flexible with what I was going for. Also, I learned that the whole Elgrim double move on your third order marker up to like initiative glyph is awesome. It's broken. I did that like every time.
I haven't. We use Elgrim quite a bit, and so we do those shenanigans. But I actually didn't play against anyone with. I didn't fight any knights. I didn't fight any Elgrims or anything, any Vikings or anybody like that. So that's funny that you've encountered that.
I mean, I did it on almost every chance I got, I did it in ScapeCon, and all of these maps, it's like each of the glyphs is reachable within 10 moves. So
Yeah,
he's got
because
5 and then 5.
no, for sure, yeah, because I've studied tournament map making for us to practice on these type of maps, and yeah, they want to keep 7 is the key number that you want to keep glyphs away from each start zone. So
Okay.
most maps are about either at its shortest 11 spaces away from each start zone, not counting the first start zones, but like if for example, if you have sand as your start zone, whatever that first grass tile or rock or whatever to the next rock right before the next start zone would be 11 spaces away. That's the smallest. Then it goes from 12 to 13. If you go any more than 13, then the map might be too big and it might be just like kind of too much of a drag to get development going.
That makes sense. I didn't know that there was that specific of a number, but that makes total sense.
Yeah. But you definitely want to go for an odd number. That's why I think you see more common between 11, 13, and 15. 15, like I said, is a bit more of a drag for yours, but like 13 is the sweet point. Just because...
Why odd numbers?
Because the glyphs are in the middle of the map. So it's 7 tiles in the middle to both sides. So it's that sweet point.
Otherwise it wouldn't be like symmetrical. That makes sense.
Right, and so for example, if by chance you take Raylan, okay, and she can just fly herself in, she can't. She's got even with, let's say, Concan, well, I think, is she 6 movement or 5? I don't remember now.
I think she's 6.
I think she's 6 too, because I think our friend Michaela used her in a recent tournament and was using Concan against 7 movement out of her, which is nuts. So yeah, 6, because they were looking for Raylan perches, they were calling them. Not that the glyphs are Raylan perches, but areas where you can just kind of put Raylan and then, like, that's pretty much it. That's the game.
Right. Yeah.
And so
I'm not moving her again.
Right. And so, they were using her as an example to get glyphs in, or get characters into the glyphs, so that if there's 7 away, 6 is pretty much the max you're getting. If you're taking a unit for 7 movement to get a glyph, then you're paying to be able to do that. I think it's Otanashi has the tricky ability. If you start adjacent to a tricky unit, you get like extra 3 movement or something, and so she's a really good glyph holder. She could just launch herself to get glyphs early in the game. So Nigaksa still fighting, he's still kung fu fighting over there. Meebergsaw is not engaged, which is I'm so glad to see.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And so I got your stingers engaged with some of your heavy gruts. Got them occupied, which is great. But do I make the choice to leave them alone and just have them be engaged with you?
Alright, 3 is on Meeberg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I thought you were rolling that. I thought that was like an attack.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was like, oh my god, that was great.
And then attack down. 2. On the correct.
Ooh, okay. Now, does Grimnack give a +1 and to both attack and defense?
I believe so. Yeah. I'm realizing I'm not as encyclopedic on my knowledge as maybe I should be, because I feel like I knew these questions until you asked.
Yeah, I also should have probably pulled them up. I keep saying this. I was like, oh, am I forgetting something? Am I forgetting something? Yeah, that's what I'm forgetting. I gotta keep myself a notepad every time I do one of these and be like, just pull up all the cards that we play with. But then again, it's like a test of knowledge. It's like, how well do I know Heroscape?
Is Meebergsaw a guy or a girl?
I don't... Other than Kimoshi, I don't think there is any females on the Morrow. So I'm going to say he's a guy.
Okay, that makes sense. I've heard both. I've heard Meebergsaw referred to as a she.
Huh.
I don't know why, but now my brain can't keep it apart.
Oh, +2. Okay.
Maybe they're they. Who knows?
Interesting. Where's the lore masters? I need the lore masters here. We need to figure this out.
Do you have them on speed dial?
Actually, kind of
Who
do.
has speed dial? What an old reference.
I'm gonna roll up my window, right?
Yeah.
What a time to live in right now.
This is where the gruts get around and they grunt me barks at.
Yeah.
She gets
Oh my
grunted,
god.
and they just grunt some more.
Yeah, like last round is the thing, so...
Grunt is a great name for orcs. Like,
Yeah.
who are essentially orcs, just like gruts. Great name.
It gives a good like sense of what they are. Like, if you tell me what a grut is, like
Yeah.
blindfold me, tell me what Heroscape is. You know, I could tell you can guess what a grut is.
Yeah, yeah. It's a dice game at the end of the day.
It is, but I think positioning too, because that's to ask myself my own question when I was asking you about tactics is I think positioning is incredibly important. And yes, I do agree. Dice will kill you no matter what you do. The dice will, always be against you at some point. But positioning also really matters a lot, and patience too. Sometimes don't always move. I was noticing that I would move a lot of my heroes in first for some odd reason. I wouldn't make the screen that I probably should be, because I was with other events. I was playing with drones, and there was one game that I had not moved them in at all. I was moving Subakna in. I was moving Nigoxa in, and I'm rewatching the game, and I'm like, what am I thinking? What is happening right now? And that's because I learned quite a bit. I learned that the reason that you take all of your squads is that you can push them in, have a nice wall, and then have your next forces come in. And when you're talking about before with how you move, your units in, pre-planning, what's the next 4 rounds going to look like? Mm-hmm. It's really important to have that type of mindset and at least have a goal set in your head, and say, even if things go sideways, which will absolutely happen, because nothing will ever go your way. Something's going to mess it up. So even if you have your goal set so that you have an objective, like you said, you like objective game modes, so you play the glyphs, you'll play height, and that's kind of like King of the Hill, essentially. Think to yourself, okay, I'm playing King of the Hill. Where's the hill right now? Even if it's, let's say, there's 2 hills on this, right? These 2 rock locations that we're looking at. Those are our hills. You can't get to both of them. Eventually you'll get to both of them, but, you got to think, okay, which one's going to be more advantageous for me?
Mm-hmm. And from there, if I took one, I could then use Krav to try to force you to come to me once I was in a position that I wanted, right? So it's about knowing the effective range of your opponent's army and what's vulnerable at any given time.
Sure. And even with the Krav's range, which I believe was either like 6 or 7, 7, which is crazy. I mean, that's a good chunk of range. So even if, let's say, I had to take this army in, even if you move them in, let's say the first round, use them for the second order marker, kind of be like, oh, I'll just move them up here, no problem. And I like, oh, I'll remember that. You won't remember that, and you just have them sit there, and then all of a sudden it's round 3, and here you go. Oh, I'm gonna move the crab. Like, oh, where are they? Oh, what the heck are they doing there? Don't. They're like a surprise. Surprise.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, they can't hit me from there.
Yeah. So maybe I was a bit ambitious by saying 15's a bit of a drag. I think anything above that then. So 11, 13, and 15 are probably the best ranges. Anything above 15 would be more. Then I would say I'll correct that. So if you're learning to make tournament maps, ladies and gentlemen, you're okay with 15. Joe Crazy proved. But yeah, no, like I said, the odd numbers, right? The 7. Because even from the start zone, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So
Well, it is, but you also like you got to consider that piece of swamp, right? Because that's going to take either you have to go around that or you have to go into it and then back up.
Well, true, but it's also imagine if you playing with the best units out there. You know, imagine if you have high amount of movement and you can fly. It's always
Yeah, you're
7.
right.
So if you were doing anything, you know, beforehand and you know in between, yes, that would be a lot more movement because even for the hounds, I would have to get a high movement, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'd have to go all the way around the swamp to avoid it. Not what does it really make a difference? I don't think. See, I think it's trickery. It tricks with your head because you look at the map. And I'm pretty sure even with the extra movement, is it extra? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's exactly the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very fascinating stuff. I like map making.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating thinking about how different units are going to respond to it.
True.
And, like you find that unit, you're like, oh, this unit's really good on this map.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite aspect of Heroscape?
I would say I like army building because of the people that I get to do it with. I like making units and making like 3D printed and painted units because it's fun to show off my talents and make gifts for other people. And I just like the opportunity to sit across the board from someone, get to know them, share something with them for an hour, and then walk away and have something to talk about later.
No, for sure. That's a good answer. I like that one.
Okay.
That works perfectly. Yeah, fascinating stuff. Jack, wonderful game that we had. Thank you so much for joining me and for our rewatch of the game. I'm so glad that we got to play against each other, and I'm so glad that you won. I'm very happy that you won.
I appreciate you having me on. I also appreciate you agreeing to review a game that you didn't win. I know that's probably not always the easiest to do on your channel, but I appreciate the opportunity to commentate.
I got way more ahead of you.
Well, keep up the good work. Keep up the good content. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Or is that your line?
No, you can say that. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Click the bell so you get notifications whenever he uploads a new video. Peace out, party people.
Professional ahead. Where's your YouTube channel? Where's the Trivia Night channel where we talk about trivia of Heroscape? Where is that?
Oh, that's a good idea.
There you go.
Give me ideas.
maybe soon we'll do a test run. We'll do a Trivia Night video talking about quizzes.
Podcast. That's what we need.
Yes. So let us know in the comments below if you want Jack and I to do a quizzes of Heroscape. I'd like to do that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be fun.
But thank you again. I really do appreciate it. And for everyone at home, please go check out Trivia Night on Heroscapers.com. Do you have any customs on there as well?
I don't. My page is completely blank.
Okay.
So you probably don't have to plug me on the forums. I don't really have much to show. I just go to tournaments. I probably should post because I made a dice tower that I wanted to post, but I never
that's cool.
Did so. And I also have I have the minions of rock that I completed. I don't know if I have minions that have guitars.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah. I'm making these. Let's see. There's this guy. He's got like a flying V.
What? Yo.
Yeah, I'm making some for ScapeCon this year.
Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah. So, I know that's not really yeah. I'm making some for ScapeCon this year. They're going to be in the raffle. So.
Oh, that's wicked. I love that.
Like I said, I like making stuff and then donating them to the community because I think it gives you a good story to tell and it's a way to make people happy with the talents you got. So
absolutely, Jack, that is fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, hopefully at some point you get to share more of your stuff because I'd love to see it. It's very talented guy right there. Awesome stuff. Well done. But for you audience members as well, please, like Jack said, like, comment, subscribe, and if you do really enjoy this content, please share it with your friends and family. I do much appreciate it. And don't forget, I am not crazy. I'm Joe Crazy.